still watch the game just for the sake of watching the game. So it'll be a good thing just to hang out and eat food and
Yeah, that's what the Super Bowl is
drink.
about.
Yeah.
Commercials, movies, we're gonna
Commercials,
see
halftime
trailers.
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're just getting joined to YouTube now. So hi everyone, welcome.
Yeah, we made
It's
it.
Monday night. We're here with it's me and Ashley doing Star Wars Rebels Revisited, making our
Yeah.
way through season 3 and our march to The Mandalorian season 3. And we're in Rebels season 3 right now. So a lot of good stuff to catch up on tonight.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So we can get right into it if you want.
Yeah, let's jump into the episode in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because
Okay.
we have a lot of stuff to talk about before we jump in and as everyone joins. So I see Jen and Blake and Bryce and Sherry and Dave. Oh, and by the way, it is Jeff's birthday.
Yes.
So Jeff
Happy
is not,
birthday.
yes, happy birthday. Jeff is not with us tonight. He is out celebrating. So Spencer is filling in. So our man behind the camera is Spencer. So thank you, Spencer and Dave for getting us all
Thanks.
set up.
Yeah, you guys
Um,
rock.
yeah, there's going to be
Welcome.
a lot of entertainment at the Super Bowl, which I do want to talk Super Bowl with everyone in the mix as well. I forgot to put that in the show notes, but
Yes.
there's going to be a lot of trailers. So Dave's already pointed out a couple: Guardians of the Galaxy, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. There's a Rihanna concert. We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, is doing their final trailer.
Yes. I'm
Um,
so excited.
I heard that Scream 6 is doing a trailer
Hmm.
during the Super Bowl, which is mind-blowing to me that an R-rated horror movie that's on part 6 is putting a trailer at the Super Bowl. Like that's one of my favorite franchises of all time. I could start a channel on Scream, frankly. Like
Hmm.
I love that series of movies and I'm so pumped about it and I can't wait to see what they're going to do for the Super Bowl because they can't just drop like a standard trailer. Like if something
Yeah.
special, if it's a Super Bowl, spending like $10 million. That's their whole
Yeah,
damn marketing budget.
exactly.
Yeah.
Seriously, for that one commercial, but you know what?
Yeah.
I saw the trailer for Scream 6 during I took my mom and two of her friends to see 80 for Brady today.
Mm.
So that
How was it?
it was really cute. Like my mom and her friends are huge Pats fans and
Of
they're all
course.
in their late early to late 70s, so
Hmm.
it was fun and it was right up their alley, like all these actresses that she loves. And
Yeah, look at Sally Field.
yeah,
It's a great crew there. Rita
it was so
Moreno.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
seriously, she was hilarious.
yeah.
Billy
I like
Porter is
Lil.
in it.
Oh,
um
I saw the
Retta.
list of cameos. Gus
Yeah,
Kenworthy's in it. Like there's some
yeah,
random.
completely. Ron Funches is in it. Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, two of my
Hmm.
favorite Patriots, Rob Gronkowski, of
Oh, we
course.
all love the Gronk. Yeah,
But yeah, it was
he's
just
a lot,
really cute.
but
He's a lot,
people
but
love him.
yeah. So it was really cute, and it's just nice to get out of the house and you know get a football movie in about the Super Bowl before
Yeah.
we start the Super Bowl.
And hang out with your family. That's what I did this weekend. We had my belated
Yes.
birthday celebration because my husband had COVID 2 weeks ago. So we went to my mom and dad's house, and my sister, brother-in-law, and the kids came over, and we made a cookie cake. Nothing better than a cookie
Wow.
cake, kids. Get yourself the
No.
recipe on the back of the Toll House chocolate chips and bake yourself one giant cookie and cut it up like a pizza.
That sounds
By the way, it said it
amazing.
makes like 48 servings, and I was like, the 8 of us ate it. So I don't know what they're talking about, but
It
it
does not
was
have to be a conventional
yeah,
slice. Half the cookie still counts as a serving. It's
yeah,
okay.
it was wild. We had fun though because my niece is like 5 and she's actually like really good at helping cooking and she loves to crack eggs. And I was like, all right, well, we're gonna have you crack the egg in the bowl on the off chance that shells go everywhere. She can crack an egg as good as I can.
Holy
So
cow.
yeah, she's great.
Congrats.
So we had a lot of fun doing that. And just hung out and it was freezing on
Cute.
Saturday here in New York as well. New
Yeah.
York and Boston had that same cold front, and then Sunday was much nicer. And you're right, Sherry, birthday calories do not count. I'll worry about that at a later time. But that cookie cake, man. Jeff, what are you doing
Making
here?
me jealous. Jeff, go have fun.
Yeah, get out.
We release you.
Have a happy birthday, damn it, and leave. So,
No, we love you, Jeff.
yeah,
We have a phenomenal birthday today.
I
We
wasn't
appreciate
sure
you.
if you were gonna celebrate on Monday because all weekday birthdays suck, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to do the weekend before, after, or during. Yes, birthday boys in the house. Had I would have planned something good, but we found out hours beforehand as Spencer was coming in to sub in.
Yeah, that was really cool. So we release you to Oga's Cantina. Go
Yes. Oh
have
my God.
a
Yes.
go have a blue bantha and a fuzzy tauntaun on us.
I can Venmo. Oh, I can Venmo you a drink. That's what
Yeah.
I'll do. I'll send you a drink at Olga's. Hey, Hunter, and everyone in the chat. Very exciting to see all of you guys. All right, so let's jump into the news. All right, Monday, big news day, celebration.
Huge news.
Yes,
Huge.
lots of talent to reveal. So I'm just going to jump right into it. All right, first up, a first-time celebration autograph hall attendee. One of your favorites, Ashley, Gwendolyn Christie.
Love Gwen so much. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be living vicariously through each and every one of you who goes to the autograph hall and gets to meet her. Uh, as you know, she's our Captain Phasma, our queen badass, and
The tallest woman in Star Wars
seriously,
and on
Game
the
of
planet.
Thrones,
Yeah.
Wednesday, and of course Lucifer in the Sandman. So that's why I'm so
Yeah.
jelly, you know.
Sandman and Wednesday,
Yeah,
huge hits for her. She's great in Wednesday. Again, though, small role, but
yeah,
effective. And in Sandman, I would say she's one of the breakouts, and everyone in that
yes,
show is awesome. But she's really
yes.
good in Sandman. And yeah, I think as we were talking about, or as we were thinking about cast pieces and whatnot, you can add her to Force Awakens and Last Jedi. There's also a Phasma book. Obviously, she's got pops and all sorts of merchandise. She would look great on a
Hot
helmet.
toys.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
hot
helmet too.
toy,
That'd be
an
perfect.
action figure, a Black Series. There's all sorts of cool stuff for her.
Right.
And
I have a
and a first
friend,
time signer.
first time signer, so make sure you get her on those pieces, guys, because and Gwen is absolutely lovely. So I'm really hoping that you guys get to meet her. She's, as you can see from her interviews, she's just hilarious and she loves all our deliciously nerdy properties and she's
Yeah.
part of so
Well,
many.
Game
So
of Thrones,
Game of
Sandman,
Thrones.
Wednesday, Star Wars. She was missing Harry Potter because
Yeah,
like
seriously.
before the fact, but she's in a lot of them.
It's so exciting. So yeah, congrats to everybody who will get to meet her. It's a huge deal. So
And adding to the mix another woman signer because we're trying to we're never going to get to gender parity because like the prequels and the original trilogy just didn't have enough women mixed in. It's a little better in like the new trilogy and in animation, but it's never
mhm.
going to be a split 50-50, but it's moving in the right direction.
It
And with that
definitely
in
is. Yeah.
mind, next up, another first timer in the autograph hall and another woman signer, Ming Na Wen.
Our girl Fennec Shand. Ah, love her in Bad Batch, love her in The Mandalorian, and love her in Book of Boba Fett. So it's
Three
gonna
cast
be,
pieces we can
yeah,
put her on.
three cast pieces. So make
Yeah.
sure you get those lined up. I'm looking at you,
Yeah.
Spencer.
And Dave's pointing this out too, the original Mulan. So
Yes.
she's a Disney, so she's a
In
triple
Agent
threat
May.
Disney.
So she's
Yes.
Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars. So
Yeah.
she's done
She's got
everything.
the trifecta. What is it? The
She's a
hat
Disney
trick.
legend. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's right. She is a Disney legend.
yes.
Yeah.
So the
So
cool part is she posted a video not too long ago about like how excited she was. I guess somebody made her a Fennec Shand helmet and she was putting it on a shelf next to a bronze statue of Mulan on her horse. And it was,
hmm,
she's like, this is what I got for being a Disney legend and being inducted as a Disney legend. And I get to have this next to Fennec's helmet. It's
that's
huge.
very cool.
So yeah, she's a queen. She's one of the sweetest people. If you can meet her, definitely do that.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things. I haven't met her myself. But yeah, she's supposedly in person, and I've heard this from numerous people, delightful. And
Yes.
it's kind of a big nerd too, like loves all the
Oh yeah.
properties and everything. So you might be able to geek out with her, but I assume her line will be long. And I assume she's going to do very, very well. I haven't
Yeah.
looked at any of the pricing on anyone, by the way, so I'm not really sure, price wise, what everyone is. But I'm sure they'll have all that posted pretty soon. So far, I don't think anyone is sold out. But we're just getting started, and it's
Mhm.
it's London, so you might actually have a better shot of meeting people at a London show than you
Yeah.
would in an American show. And yet
I
Spence
mean,
was saying he met Ming Na Wen last year and at Boston, and she was great.
Yeah, I met her in Rhode Island, I think in 2015, and she took the red eye in from
Mm,
LA. She was shooting Agents of Shield just to be there for that Saturday for signing, and she was
that's
exhausted, and people were
amazing.
like, fans were bringing her coffee and snacks, and she was just like, "I love you guys so much," and she was so sweet.
She's good
So
people. That was
yeah,
before
definitely meet her
Mando too.
before
Mando and
Mando.
yeah,
Yeah, so
right.
I
Because
got
she
an
did.
Agent May piece, and then my
Mm.
cousin Charlie got Mulan as Ping doing the kick during a "I'll make a man out of you." So,
I love the original Mulan. And
oh,
this
so
goes back
good.
to our conversation about the original animation and OG animation versus like live action remakes. Like
Hmm.
what's missing from the Mulan live action remake is some of that original charm that you can only get through animated characters, like the dragon doing like the chopping and
Mushu,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, like
I
you can't
live.
do that in live action and have it feel as like
Yeah,
fun and silly. Like animation can be silly where live action just looks dumb. So
yeah.
I think I wish everyone would take that lesson that like animation lets you just like suspend disbelief and have fun with it, you
Oh
know?
yeah, absolutely. But I'm so glad she's a part of Celebration this year. She's had a big year Star
Yeah.
Wars wise, and Fennec is a major character in Star Wars. Like, honestly, is anyone going to say anything bad about Fennec Shan? You can't.
No,
She's a
everyone loves
queen.
her.
She's
I
a
mean, she's
badass.
amazing. I'm
So,
curious to see where she and Boba go and if there's a next season or if
yeah,
they play a prominent role in Mando season 3. Obviously, we've already met her once in the Bad Batch. She could always pop back in. So,
definitely. Oh
yeah.
my God, I hope she does. It'd be great. Season
All
isn't
right.
over yet.
Continuing down the list, this is a big one. Matthew Wood, who plays General Grievous and a lot of other voices. I don't think he's missed a celebration, frankly. He's not a first
Mm-mm.
timer. He is a returning favorite. And he's there. He's in everything.
Matthew is the battle droids. He's General Grievous. He's sound editor extraordinaire. Like, right, I would chalk him up like Ben Burt and then
Yeah.
Matthew Wood. Like,
Yeah.
they're the ones and twos of sound in at
He has like
Lucasfilm. So
5 or 6 Academy Award nominations. He worked on
seriously,
the prequels with George. He worked
yeah,
on the new trilogy or the all 5 of the new movies
yeah,
of the Disney era. Um, you can have him sign any of the prequel movies. And he's actually on screen in episode 1 as Bib Fortuna as a stand-in, right?
yep,
And aside from his behind the scenes work, he's Grievous in episode 3. In episode 2, he also does a voice of something. And he does all the battle droids, right?
yep.
And then so those are the
Roger, Roger.
characters. Plus, he's the
Yes,
sound guy on all of them. Then you get to the Disney movies. On all 5 of those, he's sound, but he's also usually some character voice. And I'm trying to remember exactly which ones. We had credits, and I remember back when I was a Tops, I could have told you off the top of my head like who he was in all those movies.
even
But trust when
editor
I
for
can
a while.
say, yeah, exactly. It's less top of mind. But he could literally sign all 5 of the Disney era posters, like and be on the poster. And that's true for Clone Wars
Yeah.
and Rebels, and Resistance and the video games and stuff. He plays
Oh
Kylo
yeah.
Ren in Resistance and in several of the video games and the Lego stuff.
Yeah.
So there's nothing you could bring to Matthew Wood's table that he couldn't sign. Like frankly,
Seriously.
like
And he's
his
one of the sweetest human beings imaginable. Like, he was
yeah.
at C2E2 last year, and he came by the table to say hey, and with his partner, and just lovely, lovely human being. Like,
Mhm.
you won't regret meeting Matt. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, and don't forget he's Fat Bib in Boba Fett. So
Big fat tuna.
yeah, yes,
That's what I
that's
like
what
to call him. I know it's
Spencer
horrible.
Spencer brought it up, and I was like, "That's right, he was Bib." Because my husband loves Bib Fortuna, as you know, so we have a Matthew Wood
Yeah.
autograph of prequel Bib, but we haven't met
Oh,
him
so
and we
cool.
haven't seen him in real life since Book of Boba Fett, that little stinger aired. And
So what did
so
Jason think when he saw that? Like, did he
well,
just go,
he was so mad though because he's like, of course we get like Bib being killed and none of the story of what got him there. I was like, maybe they'll fill that in elsewhere. So there's
yeah.
plenty of story to be told between episode
Sorry.
6 and I guess Boba Fett. But yeah, I hope they bring him back. I love Matthew Wood too, just personally. Like I've spent a lot of time with him for my time at Tops, and
Yeah.
we brought him to Celebration numerous times. He's a great guy to meet.
Sweet. Yes.
Next up on the list, another awesome guy, Jonas Suotamo, on
Oh,
Chewbacca.
yes. Chewy, another Rhode Island staple. I think he's been to one or two Rhode Islands. He's been in New York. Lovely human being. Really takes takes the Wookiee seriously, has learned everything he can learn from the legendary Peter Mayhew, is really
Yeah.
close to the Mayhew Foundation and just learning everything he could about carrying on that legacy. So it's really cool to see him in this.
Yeah, he's done a really good job keeping the memory of Chewbacca and Peter alive. He was at Celebration 2022. I was already lost track of my years in Anaheim at the
Yeah.
Foundation space or whatever for a
Yeah.
while. So yeah, and he's great. I brought him to Celebration 2019. He signed autographs for us. I actually did a private signing with him in Rhode Island, like in my hotel room, where he signed like a whole bunch of cards for us and everything. It was so
Oh,
nice. Just going
wow.
on and on about stories from, Force Awakens, where he was like first taking on the role. And then of course he's Chewbacca in Solo. He's basically the
Yeah.
second build in
That had to
Solo.
be nerve-wracking to be filming The Force Awakens and having Peter right there just to kind of guide him in the right direction, but
Yeah.
just to be in such an iconic role
Yeah,
as the
because
guy who played him is sitting there like guiding you through it. Like it's
a
that would drive
character
me
that's beloved for 40 years.
40
40
years.
years. Yeah, it's like we love this character, don't mess it up.
Yeah.
So, and it's like just because you're tall, and by the way, Jonas is great. He had a
Jonas
son
is
at
wonderful.
in the green room. It was funny. Daniel Logan's kid and Jonas's kid were both like toddlers.
Oh,
And they were running around. Meanwhile, Jonas's kid was like 9 feet tall already. I was like, oh my God, he's my height.
my
It was like a
gosh.
year and a half. Like,
His wife
so
is really tall too. So
yeah,
they
yeah,
they're gonna make
they're
like
real life Wookiees. They're
yeah. They have
um
Gunji
yeah.
in training, but we'll get back to
We
Gunji.
gotta.
So,
By the way, we'll be hitting on Gunji this episode too. We got to talk about him. All right,
yes.
we have two more guests left to talk about very quickly. So Silas Carson from the prequels. You might know him as Ki-Adi-Mundi and Newt Gunray. He's been at some
Yeah.
celebrations before, and he signed for us at Tops quite a bit.
Oh,
Never met
cool.
him in person, but super nice guy from what I've heard. And like he's played a couple different characters, and I'm glad we have some prequel representation in here, right?
Heck yeah. It's a big time for the prequels. So
Yeah.
it's good that, I know there's several people that I know of who are fans of Ki-Adi-Mundi
Mhm.
and it's good that they're bringing in like major people who are on the Jedi Council in the prequels back
Exactly.
into the fold. So
And
prequel
then
love is good.
and he's really sort of like a creature shop performer, Silas. Like he's played two, like Ki-Adi-Mundi is sort of a humanoid, but Newt Gunray is very creature oriented.
Yeah.
We have our first, I would say, real creature shop performer in the mix, Aiden Cook. He's another one, almost like Matthew Wood, where in the Disney era, at least, he's been in everything. He's in all
Yeah.
three of the new trilogy movies. He's in Solo and he's in Rogue One. What is going on with this? What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? What's happening, Dave? Like, I don't know what this reference is. So Aiden Cook played Baba
Whoa,
Joe,
whoa, whoa,
Strono
whoa, whoa,
Tubbs,
whoa, whoa.
Edrio
That was
Benthic.
Caleb. Whoa, whoa. That was Caleb Mundi who said, "What about the droid attack of the Wookiees?" He said that in the council room when they were talking to Yoda, he was a hologram at the time.
Oh, that is a
Oh.
deep
That's
cut.
his. That's his. That's not a deep cut.
Yeah.
That's a known line.
Oh.
You're getting your Star Wars card
Yeah.
both there, sir.
You're,
No,
you're
Excuse me,
making
are
me
you
remember things
gatekeeping?
about.
Are
You're
you
making me.
gatekeeping, sir?
but don't forget also that Aiden Cook two tubes did show up in Andor.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
real
this is
quick.
technically another Andor guest, and probably
That's
most
a very good
importantly,
direction. Yeah,
yeah,
I
Rogue
like that.
One.
Carry on.
Yes. So I do want to say, how dare you make me remember something from the prequels? So, um, but no, in all seriousness, I saw that come up twice, and I was like, "What's happening?" I feel like I missed the joke.
Oh
Andor,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah. Sorry.
Andor, now has representation from a few different characters because we already got uh, oh my God, I already blanked on who they. No, this is our first Andor guest.
First
It was
Andor, yeah.
it was Obi-Wan Kenobi that had a couple guests announced
Yeah.
with Little Leia and the
Indira.
Imperial spy Indira. So I haven't put everything. I haven't put everyone in one big list yet. And I wanted. So what I want to do, and this
We
is
need
how
a Venn diagram of these people, okay?
No,
by
we
the
need
end of the show.
we need an Excel file. This is how I organized when I did it. So you put all the names,
Oh
and
my
then you
God.
put what part of the saga they're in and little X's so you can plot out, and you could rack up how many people could sign on a Star Wars Rebels poster on an
Spencer,
episode
are you
7.
listening? Because you
Like,
need to do this.
I will do this, by the way,
Well,
I'll do this
did
in a
you see
Google
my
Doc for
post
the,
today about how
yeah.
to organize your autographs? I actually put a screenshot of my Excel of what I purchased.
I saw that. That's
There you
why
go.
I'm like, Spencer, are you watching?
So it's fun. I'm
Well,
going to actually
here.
start a Google Doc in Excel. We have a lot of Google Docs in Word for the VCN behind the scenes team, and maybe we can make it public for
Yeah.
the Facebook group. That way, as we add in like Matthew Wood, what could you have him sign on? Like, what is he credited in? Like, is he in the thing? And then what is he credited as? Like, I think it's easy for someone like Silas because he's in 2 of the movies and he plays 2 characters. Even easier for Gwen. She's Phasma, and she's in 2 things. And then outside of Star Wars, other things they're known for. You can map that out, and then we could do our own little summaries, like who's the first timer, how many women do we have, how many people from the new trilogy do we have. We can rack up those totals. I did that in 2019, so I had my own talking points as we were doing like the interview circuit and everything else, but also how I managed like the balance of everything. So yeah, I think that would be really good to help us stay organized.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Sherry brings up a good point. Jonas Totemo was also in Willow. He
Oh,
was
that's right.
one of the right in the first episode where you see that demon with like the cage on his head. That was Jonas,
Mhm.
and completely unrecognizable in the role, but
Yeah.
like phenomenal, scary as hell. Like,
And
like
Aaron,
oh my God,
Erin
coming out of the fire.
Kellyman from Solo has a big role
Yes,
in Willow. Yeah.
love her. Oh,
I
I got
gotta
to meet her in
continue to make my way
2019.
through that.
Yeah,
Um,
so good.
so that's our guest for this week. So Gwendolyn Christie, Ming-Na Wen, Matthew Wood, Jonas Ootamo, Silas Carson, Aiden Cook, 6 more guests added to the list. We are in double digits already,
Yeah.
moving pretty quickly. We're about 8 weeks out from the show. And if they do another 5 times 8, you're looking at 40 more guests. We had over 50 last time. That's not crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's totally viable for them to have 50 guests. So I think it's doable. All right.
Yeah.
I think we should jump into the episode, and as the episode plays, talk about some of the other stuff.
Sure.
Does everyone have their Disney Plus queued up and ready?
I do. Oh, I hope everybody else does.
Yeah. So we're looking at season 3, episode 15, Trials of the Darksaber.
Yeah, this is an iconic episode. Definitely iconic. All right. So you got everybody ready? Ready for the countdown? We're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
I feel like there are
Every
definitely going to be times where I'm just going to like want to watch the episode.
You're just gonna be
It's
like,
so good. Yeah.
Chopper handling business. And it's Fen.
So a little bit of briefing on this episode. Spencer, I do need another task. This is one of those rare episodes in Rebels where there is no external threat. Like, they're not fighting the Empire in this episode. They're not even running across rogue Mandalorians or a crew of pirates. Like, it all happens here on Chopper Base, and it is a training episode and an emotionally weighty character development episode, all based around Sabine.
And I love how, like, as soon as Kanan lights it up, Fen instantly knows what it is. Like, this is an iconic Mandalorian weapon.
This little animation of
love it.
like just the history. They use this in so many
Tar
places.
Vizsla. Yeah.
And a lot of people mistakenly think this comes from the Clone Wars, like this little bit. Like it's from Rebels, and it gets pulled into a lot of other stuff.
Haha. Not everything's Clone Wars, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sabine doesn't want this weighty responsibility. Aside from the fact that she's a teenager, she's got a lot of baggage with her parents that we're going to get into, and we're going to unpack it all this episode. Yeah, Spencer, this episode, or the episode from Thursday with Tate Fletcher and Emily Swallow was fantastic. That
Oh
was a
my
really
God,
fun one
so
to be
much
in the
fun.
comments. So
Oh,
if
I love this
anyone's,
little piece of art. Oh,
yeah,
I
I
want
don't
that
know,
as a
it's
tattoo
incredible.
in like the worst way.
If anyone hasn't seen the Thursday episode from the watch along, definitely give it a watch. It was a great one. Emily was actually driving from she had a not I think it was either an audition or a rehearsal.
Chopper
She was
purring.
yeah, she was
Sorry.
on her way to and from things, but like carved out time to meet like with you
Yeah.
guys and
She was
answer
on her
questions, and she
way
was great.
to a rehearsal
Yeah,
and she was able to sneak in and talk with Tate and the guys. Uh, they're just lovely, amazing
they're
people
so
and
good.
so much fun.
You could tell they know things too because I asked a couple questions in the chat and people were like liking my question, and so Dave asked it and was like, oh, a few people want to know, and they're like, how do we answer this without giving away the answer? And I was like, oh my god,
Oh
they know the
yeah.
answer. Like that alone was an answer.
It's you have
Yeah,
to give a very
yeah,
careful answer when it comes to things
exactly.
like that. So you were asking some really good ones too. So you could
Oh
just see them kind of trying not to be too hard on the nose there.
yeah. And you know, my big one is who wins in the fight, Bo-Katan or Emily or the armorer? And she's like, what if we teamed up? And I think she sort of ruminated on that one for a while. And it's like, oh, clearly they're gonna fight and we're gonna find out. But like I do think if they teamed up, they could take over every system. Like
Oh
we'd
my
be in a
God.
lot of trouble. Like, don't
Yeah,
cross them.
forget Mandalore. We're going through like
Yeah.
half of the Empire's scraps right
Burn
there.
burn
So,
through Coruscant. Yeah.
oh,
Okay, so this is the crux of the episode. Sabine does not want this responsibility, does not feel like this should be thrust upon her. She knows what comes with it. She doesn't want to go back to deal with her family because there's a lot of stuff there. And this is where we find out in this episode. Like we all
yeah.
kind of know it now because we're super fans, but like at the time, we didn't realize how bad it was.
Yeah. And Hera's like, she's like, oh, my family is here on the ship.
Mhm.
I don't need them. And Hera tells her, no, but we do. We need to recruit Mandalorians to the cause against the Empire.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a lot. The poor girl is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like go back home and deal with the people who, essentially cast you out as a traitor, or help your found family and save the world, save the galaxy from the Empire.
You could see, by the way, she has one emotion this whole episode, and it's anger. I love
That's
it
how
so
I
much.
process everything in my life. Like
I feel it.
yeah, it's something I'm learning to deal with. Oh, I love this shot. It's her finally taking charge of the Darksaber. Just when you have so much hurt that you just have one way of processing it, and hers is just anger. Like, give me the Darksaber, I'm gonna kick your butt with it. And it's just like
Yeah.
you forget about all the pain about your family treating you as an outcast and being a traitor to your people,
Yeah.
whether you wanted to or not. It's hard.
We get into some heavy stuff here. It's interesting too that like every single person on the ship has like some messed up family history. Obviously,
Yeah.
Ezra's parents are missing and then later confirmed to be deceased, and it's the thing that he can't let go of, and he has to face in like the final episodes of the whole series. He's tempted with a potential life with his family, like by helping the Emperor. Like it's the Great Temptation, right?
It
So his mom
totally
and dad are
is.
sort of hovering over him as like the ghost of what could be, right? Kanan was obviously taken from his family when he was very young as a youngling, being a Jedi, and then the whole Jedi Order was exterminated. So family gone, right? Hera, mom is probably gone, but
Dead
like
at this point, yeah.
the dad and her are not on great terms. Even with a couple times he pops into the episodes, it's a very strained relationship. And now we're going to find out. And Zeb, who we just keep forgetting about, sorry, Zeb, his whole species is sort of extinct.
Except for
And
two.
right. And he's not even the saddest one because I think out of all of them, Sabine's is the worst. I think she's had the hardest go out of all of
She
it
has
because
her entire
yeah,
family all still there, and they just don't want to. They consider her an enemy. That's so
yeah,
hard.
they turned on her, even though she did the right thing and paid the price for it. It's like truly like no good deed goes unpunished. You
Oh,
know, she defect.
I
We find
relate,
out in this
girl.
episode
I
why
relate.
she defects from the Empire, like what happened. It all comes out at the end, so we're going to build to it. And we're not going to spoil it now. But yeah, it is. It's heartbreaking.
David dropped the spreadsheets in the chat, so if anybody wants to check that out, David just
What?
posted it.
Did you already take my project, Dave? This is great. Oh, look at this. Oh,
So
girl.
shiny.
Oh, I like this. Solo TFN, yep. Mandalorian. Do we have Book of Boba Fett on here? Or you got to add Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett, and Andor.
I love Ezra teaching her how to train with the fake swords, like just go through the forms because it kind of teaches her a little bit more finesse.
Discipline.
So when it comes time, So when it comes time
Dave,
for
this
her
looks amazing. Dave, this is fantastic.
Spencer, ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah. D. Bradley Baker, I think, is in a Mando episode too. I'd have to look it up. That's the kind of thing where it's like I know we can
He
get
was
the
a
deep cut
stormtrooper.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and Hayden is in Obi-Wan. Yeah, we got to add in that kind of stuff. This is great. This is exactly what I was envisioning. And then I would put a column for like what their price is, and then we can do rack ups, and then maybe what their credits were. I'm excited to contribute to this because that is in my wheelhouse, that kind of stuff.
She's so Mandalorian. I love that line. They're stubborn.
Yeah, this training montage is interesting because
Yeah.
you get some real growth from Sabine, obviously, and then Ezra moving from student to teacher, helping Sabine. Sabine's usually helping Ezra. And in this case, Ezra's helping Sabine, which is really a nice change of things.
Yeah.
And then Kanan is really, he's struggling. He's like kind of not the best teacher for Sabine, but then he pulls it together. They make it work.
I think Herrick kind of talking him off the ledge is helping too.
Yeah.
This is also a very cool episode because Fen has a gift for Sabine.
Yeah, that's right. You talked about this the other day.
Yes.
I really like Fen Rao. And by the
I
way,
do too.
On Star Wars Explained this week in the Q&A, someone asked about Fen Rao, and they talked about him extensively in the episode and mentioned Rebels and being like, oh, he could pop in the Mandalorian season 3. And I was like, we just said that. So I was like,
if he does, you will hear me shrieking. Okay.
Yeah.
It'd be even better if it was Kevin McKidd. I'm telling you. I would lose my shit.
He'd be one of the few that can make the jump to do both animation and live action. Yeah. These are the bracers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mandalorian gauntlets.
Blind Kanan is always funny. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
He can
I'm
hear.
blind. Mandalorian van braces. Yep.
Fen Rao's just a good guy.
And I like that they look like they've already been designed by her. Like they have those really cool, like yellow designs on them.
Yeah. It like works with her outfit, even though it's not too matchy, you know.
Now, I totally blanked on this. I always thought she decorated them. That's to have it be part of it. It's just meant for her. And I think this is where she starts taking it seriously. Like right now, she's like, okay, I'm a Mandalorian. This means a lot to me.
Yeah. Oh, I like the, yeah. And that's the thing is like, she can get it done.
Ezra, Kanan's not happy. Yeah. Speedy delivery.
I like her, her lasso. The thing is, like, you're not gonna stop Kanan.
No way. He's too skilled for you, girl.
This is
even
brutal.
Blind,
the Jedi
he's
won
too
that
skilled
war.
For you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fenn's not happy. He's like,
Yeah, I was like, So this goes back. This is a similar theme that we saw in the Bad Batch. These are still children, Sabine and Ezra. I know they're tweens or they're teenagers.
They're teenagers at this point.
They're still kids, and the fact that they have to take on this level of responsibility, like we just handed Sabine the keys to the kingdom. It was like, this could unite your entire species. By the way, you will be challenged. And it's like, I'm 15 or 16 or 17. Like, how's this fair? Like, I shouldn't have to deal with this. You know, she's already punching well above her weight class, right? And acting way more mature than her age. And now we're asking for even more. It's so unfair.
This would have been a cool moment to have the Bendu come talk to her. Like, I know it's a force thing, but
Mhm.
it would have been cool.
Well, at the beginning of the episode, when Kane is talking about, or wait, does he do that coming up? That everyone
Com-
can kind of feel the force a little bit. Yeah,
yeah, it's
like
coming up.
yeah. It makes me think like, yes, everyone can tap into the force. We're all connected. The force is through. It's through all of us, right? I think Sabine has a little bit of force. Like maybe not like full Jedi level, but you know, I think there's something there. And you're right. It would have been cool for her
Yeah,
to talk to the Bendu. I think that would have been really neat.
I totally relate to Sabine, like feeling like she betrayed her people and how sad it is. I don't want to learn about these things.
It's so sad. It's like, oh, it works out though, and it takes a while, but it works out in
Oh,
the end. Because in these moments, I like hate her parents, right? The
yeah.
mom, the dad, they're terrible. I was like, even the brother. I remember
Right.
saying, I was like, even the brother. It's one
Yeah.
thing to like
Oh, speaking of,
generationally,
oh,
like, yeah, he's right
she,
there. He's
she's
been
like
listening.
kicking him around over here.
Yeah, this is a very sad episode.
I know. I'm already starting to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I watched
Because
someone
when
do a
Ezra
live
looks at
react,
him,
and
yeah, especially
and
when
they,
Ezra looks back at her and goes, at least you have parents to go back to. I'm sorry, you guys. It's just, that's
yeah,
why I keep
this is a
tissues.
tough one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's way more capable than Ezra. Ezra has the force to like it's like his cheat code. He's playing with the game Genie on. She's working on a higher difficulty level, and yet she's gonna do it. It's amazing though that Hera knows how. She's like the smoother. Like she knows how to get everyone on the same
She's the
page.
mom. She
Yeah.
knows.
I'm not good with the Dungeons and Dragons terminology, but it's not charisma, I don't think, but it's the one where you're able to negotiate between, like, you're very good at diplomacy. Like, she's high on the diplomacy, being able to get other people to see each other's point of views and then sort of get them to follow the correct path.
She's got a really high level of empathy, which makes
Yeah.
her a natural born leader because she's doing the best she can to get others just to think about other people's feelings.
Mhm.
So
Spencer, how old was Luke? Was he 20 when he blew up the Death Star? 20 or 21 or
19?
19? He might have been
Yeah.
19. It's right on that cusp.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of thing where, look, I get that
Because Leia is 19 in that, so
Okay. I just and by the way, they look like they're in their early 30s. That's what cracks me up. The aging was different back then.
yeah,
Like Mark
definitely.
Hamill in 1977 looks like he's 32. Like let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah.
So like I get that these kids are only 16 or 17 or something. But they seem like they seem like kids. Luke and Leia didn't seem like kids. Like they seem like formed adults, you know.
Yeah.
He was whiny. Yeah, I mean Luke was whiny, but
Let's look
he
directly into the lightsaber.
yeah.
Point it at your face.
What's interesting too is like there's an age distinction, there's a gender distinction, and we've got I'll call it like nationality thing where it's like Jedi versus Mando. So Jedi versus Mando, old versus young, male versus female. Like there's no alignment here. Like yes, they've been family for the longest time, but like there's nothing they can immediately bond on those things to like pull this together. They're overcoming so much despite the fact that they've been each other's family for years.
Ugh, I love this. It's him showing that he has faith in her.
Yeah.
It's a token of faith.
Because of Hera.
Yeah.
Hera saved the day like she always does.
She's not even there and she's
Oh,
saving
that's
the
the
day.
shot.
Yeah.
That is the shot. I put that on trading
Boom.
cards. I
I've
had an ink
drawn
I
that
pinned.
once.
We had that printed as a photo at Celebration, of course, for Tia
Oh,
to sign.
I would have loved to have done that. Why were we
Get a
so
picture.
busy at Celebration? I would have loved
I
that.
know. It's that kind of thing where I think back now and like the many paths, like you just miss people slightly.
Yeah.
Um,
Tia, please do Celebration or at least a con or two. I would love to meet her.
yeah, it'd be great. I don't think they're gonna have anyone from the Rebels really this year,
Come
which is
on, you
disappointing. But
guys. Come
they're
on.
also, I think they also need to lean in on like who's available in England. Like the Creature Shop from Pinewood should be all over this guest list.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I learned something today that I didn't know, but it's really kind of cool, and I hope it's not as limiting as it can be. But I learned that a lot of the scenes for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania in the quantum realm were filmed in the volume.
Mhm.
I did not know that, so I was pretty excited to learn that. Thank
Yeah,
you, newbie. I learned something before the movie today.
they did a bunch of the Batman as well, and I think it
Yeah.
looks great. I
Oh
think
man.
that the only time the volume didn't look at its best was during the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and it was only in a couple of scenes. I just think that like a couple scenes were rushed, but it's
Yeah.
unfortunately gotten a bad rap because of that. Katie O'Brien's an Ant-Man?
Oh, really?
Spencer, how do you have
Sweet.
all this information? I really feel like Spencer works at Lucasfilm at this point. So, yeah, big role. Okay.
So
Good to
this
know.
is where you see that the lightsaber or the dark saber can be heavy to those
Yes.
who don't know how to wield it. And it's the first inkling you get of that. So if you watch
Yeah.
Rebels, you already know the dark saber is heavy. You
Yeah.
don't need to watch Mando because you know. But
It
yeah,
comes up in a variety of places. When we were doing the watch along on Thursdays to
the
like
blade
chase the
feels
dark
lighter.
saber,
Yeah.
when you start to connect with it, it'll feel lighter in your hand. You'll be able to wield it more easily. The way he explains how like when you connect with the blade and like the energy moves the same way, lightsabers kind of have that same type of thing with their masters. It's all very mystical, and we're all trying to make like logical sense out of something that doesn't really make sense. But like and again, it's a force thing, right? And she's not a force user. She's not a Jedi, and yet she's making it work.
At least her lassos are coming in handy.
Yeah. Oh, she hurt herself. Yeah. Which, by the way, we would all do, as Spencer says every time, the most relatable thing. If you got that dark saber, you would stab yourself in the thigh, just the way Mando did. Yeah, she doesn't quit. I like this. This is the anger coming through.
Oh, I need to make Sabine armor like whoa.
Well, we need our Lothcat armor with some Sabine
Yeah.
influence. That's, I think, the right answer, right?
Heck yeah, I'm down.
Lothcat crew. Oh, that's what I forgot to. When the episode's over, I have a special delivery that arrived today that I need
Oh,
to share with
cool.
the crew.
Yeah. Oh,
This moment in the episode is just so heartbreaking.
and she's even like screaming it. Like you can just hear the pain.
Yeah, the Empire used her, turned the weapons on Mandalore. She got blamed. The whole family blamed her, took the side of the Empire.
Are you listening,
Like,
Fen? Because
yeah,
this is a child, a brilliant child.
which makes me
Use,
think how many years was she at the academy? Like, if it's anything more than 4, she was basically a child, like a
yeah.
tween, you know.
I think she was obviously she's very gifted
Yeah,
and weapons creating and explosives. So I think
yeah,
they, once the Empire took over, they were just like, go.
yeah. That's brutal, right? The Empire want to destroy worlds. And they do. They destroyed people, families,
Oh.
entire worlds. Yeah.
And usually Sabine is usually cool and calm and collected, but this is the
Yeah.
first time we really see her break.
Never seen this before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Fenrau. So should Sabine be the Queen of Mandalore? Everyone watching this episode, vote yes. Upvote.
Put it in the chats. What do you think?
Yeah. This family will stand by you no matter what. That is the line of the episode.
And having a decorated soldier like Fen Rao
Yeah. And a Jedi
choose
Knight
your
with
side.
Kanan, the whole Rebels crew, the crew of the Ghost, and the larger rebellion. Yeah, it's amazing. As Spencer's voting for Corky. Well, yes, if Corky appears, obviously he
Listen,
jumps over. So
listen.
No, of course, Spencer, when you said Corky Cree, she looked at you like you were having a seizure. It was so funny because like it's the deepest cut. And yeah, I will say, as we think about the many people who could rule Mandalore, I love Emily Swallow. I would not trust the armor.
Yes.
And I'm
Oh
glad
my
she's
God.
there though, that the armor doesn't want that. Which is cool. Tate, on the other hand, was like, I don't really trust Mando. He was very cool about it. He was like, I didn't win, but at the same time, like, forget that guy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what he's up to. I get it. Yes, thank you. Spencer's the president of my fan club over here. I love it. But I will say, like, this episode reinforces my thought that if we're talking not Grogu and not Mando, it's Sabine. Like, Sabine has fought for this and probably should have been the one, if she were older, to take this
Now,
across the finish line,
I
like
have a
instead of giving it to
question.
Bo-Katan.
Do you think before she makes her appearance in Ahsoka, do you think we'll see Sabine in Mando season 3?
I think so. I think
Yeah?
I think we're building toward it. I think it would be foolish to have so many Mandalorians in Mando season 3 and not have Sabine. And we've already seen Ahsoka in Book of Boba Fett, or was she in Mando and Boba Fett? She was in both. She was in Mando and
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Yep.
Bring them both. Bring Ahsoka and Sabine. Like, why not? Like, we're going to Mandalore. Bring the crew. They've
I'm gonna
all
be
been there.
glued to my goddamn TV every
No.
single night at 3. I don't even care if I have to be at work for 5 a.m. I will be
I'm
up
the
at
same
3
way.
watching The Mandalore.
And
Yeah.
this feels like more and more it's going to become appointment television, like
Oh,
more
absolutely.
than anything else. Yeah,
Yeah.
like Mando season 3 and then Ahsoka afterward. But I'm so pumped about Mando, and we're less than a month away now at this point. We're 3 weeks away. Basically, it's going to be spectacular.
So you guys, this is one of the reasons why I love Rebels so much, is because these characters are entirely relatable. Like,
yeah,
it's the struggle to be a leader, to be everything that means something to your people, especially, and it's the whole trauma thing where like these people, you're trying to live up to their ideal of you, but they've just basically kicked you out and just said no, you're a disappointment, and just still fighting for their approval and
Yeah.
fighting for their love, and just being completely devastated at how they treated you. So these are real people with real problems, and incredibly relatable, but they're found family first and foremost.
yeah,
And you see the amount of respect that Kanan treats her with, and that Fen Rao, who started as an enemy, treats her with.
yeah. We watched that last week. Fen
Yeah.
Rao was not to be trifled with, and now he's
Yeah.
like, I will follow you.
Yeah, so that's huge, and to have them, both of them, have a possibility of showing up, please, 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 please,
Yeah.
Lucasfilm, in Mando season 3, it would be
Ahsoka, Fen Rao, Sabine. Yeah.
Corky
Let's do it.
Kreese.
Corky Kreese, damn it.
Throw them all in here. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, I'm just so excited to see this. And I followed Natasha Liu Bordizzo, who plays Sabine in the Ahsoka show, on Instagram, and she's back in LA recently. So fingers crossed, guys. Yeah.
Jonathan.
Corky Kreese, Jonathan.
Jonathan just had the nerve to ask who is Corky Kreese when it's basically the only thing I do on this channel. No, so Corky Kreese is the nephew of Duchess Satine Kreese,
and Bo-Katan.
And somehow the nephew of Bo-Katan Kreese. And from what I understand, there is no third sibling. So this boy
Corky Kenobi
is the nephew of somehow both of these women without there being a third mystery sibling. So is he actually the child of one of them? He appears in a couple Clone Wars episodes. But the joke for a long time was that he was actually the son of Satine and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, and he's my dark horse for like who could rule Mandalore, because he's actually the only one left in the bloodline in theory.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, he's not a Skywalker. That's terrible. So first of all, Luke Skywalker doesn't sleep with women. We'll leave it at that. I don't think he sleeps with anyone, but either way, so he was actually very recently on an LGBTQ list, and I was like, I don't think that's canonical. But I do think that Luke doesn't have any. Like, he has no offspring in this current timeline. I know in the EU he has Mara Jade, and that's a whole other thing. But like Luke is very much like a hermit in the, I guess, whatever. Oh my God, he's bisexual like Toad and Yoshi. Okay, who saw Pedro Pascal on SNL?
Iconic.
Oh my
God. That episode had me in tears.
The Mario.
The Mario Last of Us crossover was Like
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. It's one of their better digital shorts
So
that they've ever
funny.
done.
The dystopian, broken down kingdom of the Mushroom Kingdom in Super Mario World movie, like a mind
He's
blowing.
eating the mushroom
Yeah.
and they're telling him, "Don't eat the mushrooms,
Yeah.
you'll die." And he's like, "They make me feel
They
big." And
make
I
me
just
feel big.
lost
I
it.
was dying. So good. Jonathan, you got to watch the Corky Kreese episode of,
Oh
I'll
yeah.
find the exact episode for you in the
Clone
Clone
Wars
Wars.
episode, The Academy.
Yeah.
Clone Wars episode, The Lawless.
The
Um,
Lawless is, of course, heartbreaking. He's kind of
oh,
barely in that one, but it is like one of the all-time greats. The Academy
sadness.
is the one where Ahsoka goes to school them on corruption in government, which is one of
Yeah.
the greatest episodes you'll ever watch.
So that
Also,
is an
it's
amazing
a good one.
episode.
Yeah, he's a mystery nephew, and by the way, they both refer to him actually as nephew, so not just like
Yeah, it says
a
they're
friend
both
of the
their aunts.
family. Yeah,
So it doesn't, I'm looking at Wikipedia right now. It
yeah.
does not say who
There's
his
no
parents are.
parents. No, it's not revealed. Believe me, I've done
Um,
all the research. I have asked around. I even asked Lucasfilm at one point because I was like, I need to know, and they're like, this is not revealed. So
yeah,
yeah, do to
it's
do. Anyway, yeah, Quirky Kreese for the Dark Horse win to rule Mandalore, and maybe he'll marry Sabine Wren. Done and done.
keeping
So
the Mandalore bloodline alive, I
yeah.
guess.
Oh wait, he'd be way too old because he's
Yeah, he
closer
would.
to. He'd be like a generation older. That's not going to work.
Yeah, he'd be like Fen Rao's age,
Yeah,
really.
he actually he and Fen Rao would be the same age, so that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk very quickly about Bad Batch because we're in a similar theme where this episode called Tribe features Gunji. By the way, all right,
Our boy Gunji's
we're a
back.
week away, so we can talk spoilers.
Yes.
Gunji lives, which is very exciting. We saw that in the trailer. We go to Kashyyyk.
I love his little
Um,
fang. Oh, it
oh
made
my
me so
god,
happy to see him.
he's great. The whole batch has to go. The batch. Here's the thing. Omega is like the North Star of like do the right thing, right?
Love her.
She sees that like Gunji needs help. They go to help Gunji, and they end up bringing him to Kashyyyk to deliver him to his people, which are the Wookiees, right? And the whole batch goes. They don't even think twice about it, really. They're like, oh, we got to help this kid. Like they're very like do the right thing, right? They get to
Yeah.
Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk is under attack by the Trandoshans.
Trandoshans,
Yep,
yeah.
who are like basically trying to burn down the planet, which is just like Endor, like it's a whole forest,
Oh,
you
I
know?
know. To see all those like destroyed Wookiee huts, it was
Yeah,
just and everything on fire. But he gets reunited with his people and they work together. And Omega, once again, just like she did with Hera and the Syndulas, she's pulling them back in, be like, we have
yeah.
to help these people. This is what we do now. So
She's
instead
like
of
bringing people humanity. Like that's her big
exactly,
superpower. Yeah,
totally. So having instead of like doing these things for profit like they were going to do in the first place, they end up rescuing Ganji from these crazy homicidal droids,
yeah.
getting
Their
him out of there
missions
and
are
getting back to Kashyyyk. So that was really
yeah.
cool. Like it's been a long time since we've been at Kashyyyk.
Oh, I know.
And
Apparently this was an old Clone Wars arc that they were going to make that they had sort of abandoned in like this what would have
yeah,
been the original season 7, and so they turned it into a Bad Batch episode, which I actually think is really smart.
yeah,
Because I'd like to spend time there. I love the Wookiees. I understand that their planet is going to go through some things in the next several years. We know what happens, and you know slavery and all that other stuff. And it's not until like Han and Chewie save them at a later date. Like that's how long this is going to play out. But I like the themes of the episode where
hmm
Omega was connecting with nature. It gets a little like Avatar, Fern Gully,
yes. When
and
they put their hands on the tree and they were
tree.
getting
Yeah,
like how
we're gonna
everything
talk
was
to the tree.
connected, when
Yeah,
everything is connected, I was like, oh, this is like the swamp episode with the swamp benders and
yeah.
you and and the
I
rest of
mean,
them.
it's a
So
trope because it's the trope, right? Like I joke
it
that like
is.
Avatar is Fern Gully, which was like from 1992, but like the Ewoks cartoon did this. I
Oh, of
remember an
course, I'm going right
episode.
to. There's only one
Yeah,
avatar in my life, and that's the
yeah.
last
Oh
Airbender.
yeah,
That's why I went there.
yeah. But
But
like
yeah,
the
it's
Ewoks cartoon from the 80s, I remember them having an episode with like a sacred tree, and like they
yeah,
had to decide whether they were gonna like cut down the tree because they needed it for something else, but the tree had a right to life. Like it was very that, right? So
yeah.
these themes are not
Attacking the
new.
swamp. Yep.
But they're you know this idea of like preserving the planet and nature, especially with like the Wookiees who are like so ingrained with nature, is so far into like the batch who are all like techies, right? Like they're
Right.
like, oh yeah, you know, this is our planet. We live in cities. You know, we're off on missions. We fly ships. Like, and it's like, oh, this surrounding.
Yeah.
They're like ingrained in it, the Wookiees.
But
But they really
learning
helped. Yeah.
what they could about the leader of the tribe. Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Yana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, played by Shelby Young,
Shelby
who
Young,
she
yay.
does Leia in Forces of Destiny. Super nice.
Yes,
So
really awesome.
love her.
So, to have her come back and just kind of teach not only Gunji the way of, you know, things in on Kashyyyk, but to teach Omega and the boys a little more about the natural world, because she grew up on Camino. It's just
Yeah.
building islands in the middle of a giant ocean, and
Yeah,
they're
she
in
would
a
have never
lab.
seen a tree
Yeah,
until she left until she
yeah.
left Camino.
So
That's so funny.
it's a way of teaching her about the world, and also she's teaching them how to help people. So,
Yeah.
and also we get to see a Wookiee as a Jedi. Like it
Which
never
is
gets
always
old.
cool.
And he's
Yeah.
so like badass. Like he's very like calculated and like Tai Chi with his movements
Mhm.
with the
And
lightsaber. So it's just
And
cool.
even though he hasn't been with the Wookiees since he was taken as a child, right? Like he
Yeah.
would have been at the Jedi Academy and he's now
Yeah.
been on the run. He's now just reconnected with the Wookiees and already he like falls right into it. He's like, I got this. I'm gonna go talk to that tree and we're gonna figure things out.
Yeah,
Like
it's embedded in their
it's
nature. Like,
incredible.
and
Yeah.
you also think like how old is these Wookiees, like how old is Chewie? How old
Yeah.
is any of the other Wookiees that you see in Solo and stuff? So to have that kind of time frame, like how old is Gunji at this point?
Yeah. I'm sure it's on the Wikipedia actually. But like
You gotta
yeah,
look it up.
he's still another one though where it's a kid. I mean, they make that I think it's Hunter who says like Omega and Gunji shouldn't have to be doing this. Like they're children. It's the same way I felt the whole
It's
episode watching Ezra and Sabine. I was like
yeah,
screaming.
seriously. Like that's how I feel about all of them. They're
I know
children.
it's
Protect them.
and then even adults like we shouldn't be going through this is ridiculous, but like this to see it through the eyes of the kids is just heartbreaking.
It is.
This episode was great for I think it's keeping the momentum going in the right direction where it's not just like a mission of the week, but there's a real story to tell, a real lesson to be learned. We're also building that like coat of many colors of like weird random allies. Like we got Wanda Sykes and with her character in the last episode, and now we got
Fee,
Gunji. We're
yeah.
like we're adding to our shelf of not just potential Funko Pops, but we're getting allies the way that like Ezra created his, like as I think about, Lethal season 1 to Lethal season 4, who makes it to season 4 and who's part of that in like rebellion on Lethal to help liberate the planet. Like Gunji's in the mix now. Like the Bad Batch is going to need a rescue. I think Plan
Yeah.
99, they're going to need to be rescued, and it's going to be all of these people they're collecting throughout the season. So I
Oh man.
see the breadcrumbs. So by the way, I love the villain in this episode. JP Karliak is a new voice actor. I just started following him on Twitter. He was brand new as of yesterday or last week, whatever. Played Venomore, the lead Trandoshan, and a droid, because they make you do double duty on everything now. So new signer announcement right there, or new actor announcement. And Shelby Young coming in as a new character as well, because now you can get her on your Bad Batch poster. Before
Right.
that, she was in Forces of Destiny. I think she did some Resistance also. But
Yes.
this is nice to see them moving around and bringing in some new people too. So yeah,
Definitely.
good job, Bad Batch. You got me this season. I was like not looking forward to it, and now I'm in every week. So
I love it.
yeah,
Yay. Thank you for
um,
sticking with it.
yeah, and not just because like I'm on this channel. Like I would have continued to give it a chance, and also like you're super into it. So I'm like, okay, there's something here. Like we're gonna wait and see. And this season is I
Records
like it.
Gym.
Records Gym. That's
Ord
good.
Mental.
Before I forget, this is for everyone. This is a little bit of FOMO for everyone who didn't get their orders in, but this arrived today.
Ooh, look
This
at
is the virtual
you.
Cantina jersey.
So what
Uh,
number did you get?
I am number 17 for my birthday. I don't think
Woohoo.
there's another seven. Oh, did we lose it? 17. Darth Von
Yes.
Olin. I know I should turn off my background or whatever. And then I want to
Iconic.
show you the on the side. You got the 1 and the 7 to make the 17. Yeah, Darth Von Olin, of course.
Love
1 to the
it.
7, and then we've got the virtual Cantina logo here, which I love. So cool. So, and it's
Brilliant.
got this great like lacing on the front. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
fancy. Do
It's
I wear this to the
iconic.
Super Bowl on Sunday? I don't know. We'll find out.
Oh, you wear
So
that everywhere,
yeah, the
sir.
hockey jersey is great. It's also gigantic, by the way, because it's meant
They're
to be worn
supposed to be. It's meant to
over.
be, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So it came as a medium, and Jason's like, "What size did you get?" I was like, "It's a medium. It goes over the clothes you're already wearing."
right.
So
So
yeah,
I have several hockey jerseys myself. I have Tim
of course.
Thomas, Patrice Bergeron, but I also have some geeky jersey ones. I have the San Dimas wild stallions, and one of them says Preston and the other one says Logan, and the numbers on both are 69.
Oh my God.
Because it's funny. I had them custom made like that, but they're awesome. And I'm a little bit shorter than you, but I get a small and they fit fine over
Yeah.
hoodies,
I
like large
I was like,
shirts,
let me give it
anything.
some space because
Yeah.
it's meant to go over. I was like, oh, I'll get the medium. I could have probably done an extra small and been fine. Like this is a
I think you
nice,
could have done a small and you'd been okay. But
yeah.
you know what? You
This
have
looks
extra
so
room.
good. By the way, the material on this, the stitching, it's so high quality.
Professional.
This
Love
is
it.
so well done. I gotta say, this is what I love about the Virtual Cantina crew. And by the way, not just because I'm now a producer on the network and a host on all that stuff. Like this is just a good product. Like they made a really nice thing with and reached out to everyone in the Facebook group to see who wanted in. Like
Yeah.
this came like mailed by Spencer.
Aw.
Like this is the kind of thing where there's a lot of love and attention. They got my whole name on here, like as Spencer said, they fit Darth Von Olin, like this fit. So, and it looks really good. So I'm very
It's
happy with this.
iconic.
Yeah.
You have
And
to
it's
wear
something I'll
that
treasure
everywhere.
forever. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I love it. Love it. It's my first official gear that's
Yes, David,
Cantina
it's
related.
warm.
Yeah. By
Oh
the
my
way, I
God.
can feel it. It's heavy.
David, I'll have to show you the photos of my Wild Stallions hockey jerseys.
Yeah, you gotta put like a little photo album to the group or something.
Yeah, I definitely will.
we have Rebels Revisited t-shirts, obviously, and
Yeah.
I have those, but this is my first official Cantina gear, other than I think I bought a shirt at Celebration last year, which I'm forgetting what it was now because there were so many things at the table. But yeah, I'm excited about new gear, new merch. We got to start working on the Lothcat Racer. That'll be the next project for this group.
Oh my God,
So
I'm so excited.
Lothcat Racer.
Yes.
So, all right, let's tell everyone what's coming up on the network, and then we got to go out, and then we got to close out for tonight. Tomorrow, Tuesday, happy hour, followed by Bad Batch watch along for this episode that we just talked about, Tribe, which features our boy Gunji.
Yeah, so make sure you guys join the boys on Zoom and discuss the episode because, like we said, it's a pretty awesome episode and it teaches them a lot. So
yeah, it's a great one.
And it's always fun to just kind of go off the cuff and hang out with the Virtual Cantina crew. So don't miss it.
I have tickets to see Knock at the Cabin tomorrow night, so I'm going to miss it tomorrow. But
let me know how it is.
I'm going to try to do the next one. I'm hearing it's great. I love M. Night Shyamalan. He's so
Really?
big, whether it's like great or terrible. Like it's always always worth talking about. So
yeah.
And I'm familiar with the short. It's not a short story. I guess it's a novel, but like I'm familiar with the story of like the cabin at the end of the world. So I know.
Oh, that's what it
based
is.
on the yeah. So I know that story, and Batista's apparently amazing. So I'm very excited about that. So
it's come a big stride since Sapper and Drax. Yep. So it's exciting.
Okay, great. So tomorrow, happy hour, and then Thursday, we've got another watch along, which I think we're still doing Book of Boba Fett at this point, and then we're on to because we're only a couple weeks away before we get to Mando season 3. So we're running through Book of Boba Fett. We just got a few episodes left before we get to the Mandalorian season 3. More info on the Thursday show to be announced.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And also don't forget to go back and watch last week's episode of the watch along from Thursday with Emily and Tate. It was incredible.
Yeah, one of the best. Much fun. And don't forget, we also have next week celebrating autographs with our dear friend Frank Rich. He's going to be discussing the celebration guests and all the info.
He'll be on before us.
So make sure you check him out at 6 p.m. Eastern time or 3 p.m. Pacific. Yeah.
And on Sunday, we got Unifying Force. And then on Saturday, we're going a little out of order. So Tuesday, happy hour. Thursday, watch along. Saturday, come back and check me for the news desk. Once again, our intergalactic news desk, 12 p.m. Eastern. Are you going to join us, Ashley?
Oh, yeah. I'll be in the chat.
Excellent. So 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Greenwich time. So it's going to be really fun. We've got Martin and Jen and from Cantina 2, as well as Mark, the lead singer from Ash. So 2 Marks, but more importantly, the lead singer of Ash is going to be on. So you can see me any Monday. Like, when do you get to meet him? So that's going to be very exciting. So we'll have and Gary from Blobber the Hutt is going to be there as my co-host. So, but it's all going to be about Cantina 2 on Saturday during the news desk, and we'll talk through some of the celebration guests as well, like we're doing tonight. So Tuesday, happy hour. Thursday, watch along. Saturday, news desk. Sunday unifying force, and then back to Monday where we've got the
Celebrating autographs. Yeah.
celebrating autographs with Frank, and then another episode of our Star Wars Rebels Revisited. We've got the next episode after this one, which is Legacy of Mandalore, and that one is a banger.
For real. It's honestly, you guys, we have so much for you on the VCN leading up to Mandalorian season 3. Every bit of celebration news, Cantina news, autograph news, like we're stacked to the gills. So
Yeah,
this
it's
is
a
the
lot.
place to be.
It definitely is.
And I totally appreciate and applaud every one of you for sticking with us through this whole thing. We're trying to keep you up to date, and the VCN team does a phenomenal job at keeping everything current and getting you what you need to know when you need to know it, especially a lot of you is your first time in London. So.
Oh yeah. And we're fast too. I was like, hey, we should put together an Excel file. Dave already made it.
Yeah, seriously.
Already made
like
it.
you guys
It's already
are
there.
wizards.
Click the link. We already got an Excel
wizards.
file for you. It's amazing.
And you're reading it and you're like,
yeah, I was like, what the hell? Which is very cool. So thank you, Dave. And thank you for everyone working on all of the programming, especially Spencer, who's pulling together a lot of the news
doing
desk.
double duty this week, running it with us.
And running our show tonight. Hope Jeff is having a great birthday, and hope all of you guys are also having a fantastic week as well. We have a really fun, exciting week ahead of us.
Totally.
But I will see you multiple times this week. Thursday, I won't be on air Thursday, but I'll be in the chat Thursday. Saturday on the news desk, and then you'll catch me again on Monday for the next Rebels Revisited.
And make sure you join me in the chat.
Yes.
I always love talking with all of you. So
it'll be a good time. All right. I think that's it for tonight.
That's everything. So I thank you again for joining us, and may the force be with you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.